I never imagined a single evening could turn my life upside down. Yet that's exactly what happened at our friend Emily's anniversary party. Before that night, I genuinely believed my husband, Mark, and I had a stable, reliable marriage. Not perfect, no marriage is, but built on trust, understanding and mutual respect. Or so I thought. The evening started beautifully. Emily's backyard was bathed in warm string lights, soft jazz floated through the air, and guests mingled around tall tables with glasses of champagne. Mark and I arrived together, hands intertwined, laughing softly at small jokes along the way. From the outside we seemed perfectly in sync. Yet beneath my smile unease churned. We'd been clashing for weeks over money, schedules, and all the tiny grievances we buried instead of confronting. The party felt like neutral ground, a chance to breathe. For a while it worked. We laughed, chatted, and blended into the glow of celebration. Then Ethan arrived. Ethan had a presence that filled the room the moment he walked in. Loud, confident, impossible to ignore. He and Mark had been college acquaintances. Friends was too generous a word, but hadn't stayed close over the years. Still, the instant he spotted us, he charged forward with a wide grin and grabbed Mark in a rough, overfamiliar hug. "Mark still kicking," he joked. Mark laughed, but his body stiffened. And then Ethan's eyes flicked toward me. Something sharp, calculating, something I couldn't quite name, but I felt it immediately. Things escalated faster than I could process. A crowd had gathered near the bar, and somehow the conversation veered toward relationships. Casual jokes flew until Ethan turned to me with a smirk. "So Claire," he said, "still running his life, or has he finally learned to stand up for himself?" The laughter around us died instantly. My chest tightened. "Excuse me." Mark's jaw clenched. I couldn't tell if his anger was aimed at Ethan or at me. Ethan raised his hands theatrically. "I'm just being honest. Back in the day, Mark couldn't make a decision without your say-so. Thought you'd mellowed out by now." I tried to ignore him, but his words cut through the air like a blade. "You don't know anything about us," I snapped. "Oh, I know enough," Ethan shot back. "You told me plenty when you used to vent about him." I listened. Then his laugh, harsh, cruel, mocking. "Look at him. Still letting you run the show. Still scared to speak his mind. Thought he'd grow up by now." And in that instant Mark pushed him. Not violently, just enough to show he was done tolerating it. Ethan's response was immediate. He slapped Mark across the face. The sharp sound rang through the yard. I gasped, my throat tightening from shock. Mark stumbled backward, not from pain but from humiliation. Chaos erupted. Guests crowded around, shouting and questioning. But the worst part wasn't the slap. It was Ethan's next words. Once the room quieted slightly, everyone turned to me. "What do you expect?" Ethan said, wiping his mouth. "This is what happens when someone lives under Claire's thumb. Don't blame me." The air shifted instantly. Faces hardened. Whispers spread like wildfire. Asterisk, is it true? She really controls him. Poor Mark. She probably pushed him into this. Asterisk. I shook my head frantically. Asterisk, none of this is true. He provoked it. Asterisk, but no one was listening. Mark's face burned, not from the slap but from shame. He opened his mouth, closed it, and then looked at me with something that made my stomach twist. Doubt, maybe even agreement. I reached for him but he stepped back. "Claire, maybe we shouldn't talk about this here," he murmured. I felt my chest tighten. "Stop, please. Just stop." Melissa finally pulled Ethan away, scolding him, but the damage was done. Conversations resumed artificially, but snatches of whispers still reached me. Asterisk, she's controlling. He deserves better. Asterisk. On the drive home, Mark was silent, staring out the window, rubbing his cheek where Ethan had struck him. Once we were inside, he finally spoke. "Claire, why did everyone believe him?" The question shattered something inside me. "You think they're right," I whispered. He didn't answer. The silence was heavier than the chaos of the party. Eventually he said, "I don't think you're controlling, but maybe we need to examine how we treat each other. If people thought something was off, maybe there's a perspective we're missing." I sank into a chair, feeling my world unravel. "Mark, he attacked you. He twisted the truth. And everyone believed him." He sighed weary. "People respond to confidence." He spoke with enough certainty that they believed it. I stared at him. "And you? Did you believe him?" Mark closed his eyes. "I don't know." And that answer broke me in a way the party never could. Suddenly, the fight wasn't just with Ethan and his lies. It was with the quiet fractures in my own marriage. And for the first time I didn't know if I could win.